Right then, hi everybody, Adam Clery, ACFC, and the messiest transfer saga you have ever seen in your life is finally over. Alexander Isak is becoming a Liverpool player for a fee that again sees them break the British transfer record. Now, of course, being a supporter of one of the two clubs involved in this scenario, I might well have some feelings about all of this, but crucially, none of them bear any relevance to his ability as a footballer or his suitability for this team. So, if you are a Liverpool fan, this is a transfer that doesn't just change your team, but potentially changes the entire trajectory that they were going to go on for at least the next 5 years. Like, honestly, this is massive. Alright, so to start these things, I normally do like a big sort of history profile of the player, but do we really need that? Like full Wonder Kid vibes at Dortmund, but it didn't work out, so after a quick loan to William II or whatever, he caught fire at Sociedad over 18 months and had all the big clubs looking at him. But then he sort of weirdly fell off a bit of a cliff, only 6 goals in a season where so much was expected of him, saw a lot of that interest cool and opened the door for Newcastle to decide to take a pretty massive punt on him. 60+ million pounds. I remember at the time it was seen as like this insane risk. But after one season deputising for Callum Wilson, where he was still doing absolutely nut stuff like this, he made that central spot his own and scored 44 goals and got 8 assists in 64 Premier League games, which is fucking nuts. That is 54 league goal contributions. And I was there, by the way. It could have been more in just 64 games. That is why the fee for this transfer is 9 digits long. But what does that kind of figure actually get Liverpool? Well, if you've somehow never watched him play before, he is really unique as a profile. He's a simply ludicrous finisher under certain circumstances, which we'll cover in this video, and one of the most graceful dribblers of a ball you will ever see. Like, he gets a lot of Thierry Henry comparisons, which I've never personally thought were completely accurate. Like, I'm pretty sure it's just Arsenal fans saying that because he wears the number 14 and kept ruining their lives, but his ability to completely change a game by doing something out of nothing, I think, is unmatched in the Premier League currently. And I'll get you all the numbers and the stats and the nerdy stuff up in a second, but the way the ball visibly sticks to him, even when there's 2 or 3 players around him and he can just snap his way out of those situations and completely open up defenses, is his entire USP. Now, don't get me wrong, there are better dribblers in the league and there are players who more consistently go past their man, but none seem to visibly inspire terror in defenders the way Isak does with the ball at his feet. He will drag you into areas you do not want to be in and then just leave you there. But my very good friends, let us start with the goals, because that's what you pay that much money for, right? Now, in most respects, I think Isak is the best finisher in the league. But in one other, very particular respect, I actually think he's one of the worst. And that might sound really daft, but what it all comes back to is that his greatest strength in the box is his instinct. His ability to sniff out a chance and be there to take it is unparalleled. Like, legitimately, it is better than Erling Haaland's. And if you go and watch his goals, there's almost always a moment of unbelievable positioning that turns a decent chance into a tap-in. And Liverpool fans, you've already seen this up close, like the goal he gets in the Carabao Cup final, and I can't believe I'm putting myself through the trauma of watching that today. It's like sticking your wedding video on the day after your wife runs off with your high school bully. But anyway, the movement in this is really good. As Livramento sticks the cross up here, you would coach strikers to make this movement. You remember at this point, Gravenberch has had to drop into the right centre-back area, and you can just sort of see here his instincts for that position are not as sharp as Konate's would have been, and it's left McAllister, of all people, here. And crucially, because this cross has gone deep, it's taken Van Dijk out of the equation, so any decent header from Murphy that's palmed out by the goalkeeper is right there in the 6-yard box, just waiting for a tap in. Like, I can't stress enough, you would literally coach kids to make this run from here to here as the chance develops, but Isak does not do that. Instead, and this all takes place in a split second, right, he sizes up both the angle of the ball, the distance to the goal, the proximity to Andy Robertson here, and just, I guess, how good of a header he thinks Jacob Murphy is. And he realises that if the ball is going to drop anywhere in the box, it's not going to be here, it's going to be here. Like, if you slow it all the way down here, you can see that as soon as he turns his head and gets a read of that situation, he doesn't just watch it, he actively makes that movement from here to here, and right enough, that is where the ball drops. And if you go back and watch the game, which, I mean, obviously I've done several times, he's doing stuff like that the whole way through it. Like the disallowed goal, he's come from this really deep position on the corner, managed to get on every single defender's blind side, is completely free at the back post for the tap-in. Newcastle's first good chance, he manages to evade Jota, and if that is spilled in any way, he's going to score it. And the second goal that he nearly got in this game, he only gets because he is so much more alive to the situation than even Virgil van Dijk is, and goes from here to here before anybody realises what's going on. If that's a better knockback from Harvey Barnes, it's 3-0, and that is just all throughout his time in Newcastle what he has done. He reads the play in the penalty area better than almost every single defender does. Personal favourite of mine, this is just a full shove on Ødegaard, which gives him just about enough room to score that goal. And it is as clever as if he had just dropped 5 yards away from Ødegaard to make the space naturally. But of course, if he'd done that, he wouldn't have been in the best possible place to score. He knows what to do, he knows how to do it, and he's just fucking brilliant at doing it. And if you do look at the numbers, his conversion and his opportunism are like absolutely credible. Like, just look at his like output across an entire season. 0.8 goals per 90 minutes. That's 8 in every 10 games. It's just shy of Kane at Bayern. It's better than Erling Haaland, but the underlying numbers are crazy. Goals per shot is 0.21, which basically means he scores 1 in every 4 or 5 chances he gets, regardless of the quality of those chances, but 0.48 for shots on target, which means if he gets an effort away and it can go in, it goes in half the time. Like, keepers have a 50-50 chance of saving anything he puts in their direction. That is... You just don't see numbers like that consistently. And the reason for a lot of that is this seemingly quite number here. Like 14 yards average shot distance across the season is really, really close to goal. Like, this is an optograph of all of his shots and his goals. It's from like the midway point of the season, so it hasn't got everything in it. But you can just sort of see even then how good the positions he gets in for his chances are. Chances are. Chances is? Chances were. Whatever. Like, out of these, I'll just move him so you can see, like, out of these 12 goals at the time, 10 of them were for no further out than, like, 7 or 8 yards. Like, yeah, okay, the data says they're very easy chances that he gets, but, like, Isak is the one who is making them easy. Like, it doesn't just happen. So, yeah, as I said before, like, the best finisher in the league for instinctive, one-touch, do most of the work before the ball even gets to you, goals, right? But on the other side of things, when he's got a lot of time to think about the chance, that is currently an area of his game that he needs to improve. He is nowhere near as confident on his left foot as he is on his right. So in situations where there's a lot of time to think about the shot, so 1v1s or just really big openings, he will always try and shift the ball onto his better foot, and sometimes that leads to him losing the chance. Like, I could count you 4, maybe 5 times last season that this sort of hesitation led to him not scoring an actual 1v1 with the goalkeeper. Which, I mean, yes, when he scores you so many goals anyway, you do just kind of make your peace with. But the level he's hoping to move up to now, to have the ability to settle a tight game at the very, very top level and not take it because you overthink it, that's currently, I would say, not good enough. That needs to be developed. But I can't run these on as videos because the Premier League have said they'll take my dog hostage if I do, which is mad, obviously, because I don't have a dog, but every single one of these absolutely massive chances went begging for Newcastle last year because he was reluctant to take them on with his weaker foot. And you know what the really frustrating thing about that is, right? Is he's actually quite good with that foot. He scores loads of goals with his left. They just tend to be more like head down, don't think about it, really instinctive, ball just drops to you type of situations. But as soon as he has to remember he has a left leg, he forgets he has a left leg. And it's obviously not a major criticism of him, but if I am Liverpool and I am thinking, oh, how can I take this really big investment and automatically make it better? That's the number one thing I would be looking at. But while we're on the subject of small criticisms, given that his link-up play gets so much hype, you might well be looking at this thinking, well, how come he only got 8 assists over the last 2 seasons then? And firstly, only 8 assists over the last 2 seasons, get a grip. But it's also because when he does drop in, he is doing that to create openings for the team as a whole that he then still expects to finish. Very rarely does he drop in to create things for those around him, but what he does is he drops in to create situations where those around him can better service him, can better do their jobs. And if you rewind quite a lot of his goals back, like this one is against Brentford, it's Jacob Murphy just like skidding the ball off his forehead into the back of the net. But before that happens, Isak's pulled out to this left area. He's drawn the attention of like 1, 2, 5, 6 players into what he's doing. So when the ball does get out to the right-hand side, Murphy's got so much more time to cross it. This is probably the best example of that, even though it does inadvertently become an assist. This is against Arsenal, semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, right? Tonali does not have a forward pass, so Isak drops in here to give him one. And just watch how alert all of these Arsenal players immediately are to him. Like, that is a collective unease. Even the players not immediately near him feel purely because he is the one that's now on the ball. And if you just watch the distance between Lewis Skelly and Jacob Murphy before and after Isak gets on the ball, you can just see what impact his gravity, his aura, as the kids say, has on games of football. And that is, I'd say, like 90% of what all his link-up play looked like for Newcastle. Drop deep into space, find a little pocket, unsettle the defence, allow your teammates to play the ball forward, but then look to be the one that's still getting into the box to finish off the chance. The thing is, again, I think if you're Liverpool, that's another part of his game you're probably going to look to develop, because while he doesn't really create chances for his teammates, he absolutely can. This moment always stood out to me as something like a look what else he might add to his game moment, right? Newcastle are losing 3-2 to West Ham at home, and he comes so much deeper than you would ever normally see him do. He's perfectly between the entire midfield, and all of the eyes in the back line are still fixed on him. And crucially, because they still see the danger as being here, no matter how far away from them it is, none of the defenders react to Harvey Barnes and drop, which allows him to just sprint in behind the back of them. And what happened next was something you very rarely saw him do, and he plays this perfect defence splitting through ball. And if he can add more of that to his game, with Salah and Ekitike both likely to be far further up the pitch than he is at times, that could be enormous for Liverpool. That answers all the questions about how he fits in. And the numbers suggest he can be that player for Liverpool, because the ability to take players on and beat them and carry the ball are obviously up there with the very best in Europe. Like, aside from Ekitike, Liverpool don't have anyone in the squad that currently posts those kind of numbers. Like, compare them to Salah, who you do think of as taking players on. He can't do that anywhere near as well as Isak can, so he's really adding something to the squad just by being there. This makes them more unpredictable. This makes them more able to beat low blocks. But quietly, he's also been posting really encouraging stats for what he can do with the ball. Like, more than 3 shot-creating actions, which just means like laying on a chance for your teammates, like similar to the key passes stat, that's kind of nuts for an out-and-out goal scorer. Like, Haaland is at Man City, just to use him as an example again. They see way more of the ball than Newcastle, and he doesn't do anything like that. So the point I'm trying to make here, right, is that in the immediate term, what Liverpool have bought is arguably the Premier League's most lethal finisher in front of goal. They've bought themselves a bagsman. That's why it cost 130 million. But at like 25 years old, And with Mo Salah being 33 or 34 or whatever he is, what you might actually have bought is a dynasty. I've said it in every video where I've talked about Salah. He's done an unbelievable job at managing his physical decline. But now Liverpool have to do that as well. They have to be more choosy with when they use him. They can't just throw him in to every game. And the team's not got to suffer either creatively or just in terms of numbers as a result. So there's all this talk about Isak potentially blocking Ekitike's route into the first team. And I do think that's going to be a problem in the short term. But in the long term, I think he's actually here to replace Mo Salah, or at least replace Mo Salah's contribution.
Now, what we might be able to do is recreate him. Recreate him in the aggregate.
And obviously, the major question that then invites is, all right then, Adam, well, how the fuck do you get him into this starting 11 with Ekitike and with Salah and with Wirtz and with everybody else you want to have if you want to make Liverpool tick? And the answer to that is, that's going to be a video all of its own. Like, not to be a cock tease, but like, I think how Isak fits into Liverpool right now is the most interesting tactical question in the world right now. Like, I really want to do that properly, and that would be another full 10 or 15 minutes. So we'll give it its own video. How does he get into this team? What options are available to them? Who misses out? Who might benefit? All of that. So hit the subscribe button, because it's coming this week. But yes, until then, that is the most seismic transfer I can ever remember seeing. Like, the best team in the Premier League have just gone and bought the best centre-forward in the Premier League. I can't remember that happening since Andy Cole went to Man United from Newcastle. It's been a hard old life, but anyway, let us know what you make of it all in the comments below. And please, God, my God, don't forget to subscribe to ACFC here on YouTube. We're absolutely cruising at the minute, and I want to hit a $250,000 for my own ego and for just everything else. It would be nice. So please do that, and you can get me across all the social medias at Adam Clery, Clery. We're launching channel memberships. I was supposed to make a bigger deal of that in the video, but this ended up being a much bigger video than I thought it was going to be. So there'll be more info on that this week. We're doing something so fun with that. You're going to really like it, I hope, but more information later on. And nothing about the regular channel is the channel will stay exactly the same as it is, and you enjoy it currently, but we're going to add a cool membership thing on top of that. So more about that later. Alexander Isak to Liverpool. I'm away to unfollow Fabrizio Romano. I've had enough. Goodbye.